Hi, I'm your host, Scott Layton. I don't feel camera ready right now, which is why most of my videos are faceless, at least until I lose these last 30 pounds. I'm in my cocoon phase. I hope you understand the sentiment. But anyway, I've been thinking about how hard it is to stay in awe of creation while living in the chaos of the modern world. I want to dwell in gratitude, in transcendence, but reality keeps pulling me back into its demands. How do we reconcile this? There is a profound tension in the human experience, a deep yearning to dwell in the awe of creation, to live in gratitude and transcendence. If we could, we might spend our days in grace, in knowledge, in thanksgiving, basking in the eternal. And yet, the world, with all its noise, suffering, and demands, drags us back into its chaos. The immediate, the now, presses upon us with force, and we adjust. We mitigate. We make compromises, small at first, then larger, until we no longer recognize where the drift began. How do we resist this slow erosion of the soul? How do we live in the world without being consumed by it? This question is not new. The greatest minds of history have wrestled with it. From the Stoics of ancient Rome to the mystics of the Middle Ages, from the philosophers of the Enlightenment to the modern seekers of meaning. Some sought solitude, escaping into the desert or the monastery. Others turned to discipline, faith, or philosophy to anchor themselves. But no lasting answer lies in escape, nor in sheer willpower alone. The solution, if there is one, is not resistance alone, but transformation. A way of being that does not see the world as an obstacle to transcendence, but as its very medium. To understand this challenge, we must first recognize that the longing for transcendence is not incidental to human history. It is its very foundation. Every civilization has reached for something beyond itself. The Greeks in their pursuit of the Eastern traditions, in their quest for enlightenment, the medieval world in its devotion to the divine. Whether through religion, philosophy, or art, humanity has always sought to stretch beyond the fleeting, fractured reality of daily life towards something greater. Plato spoke of the lying beyond the material world. Augustine saw thee as the true home of the soul, and Kant pointed to the moral law within as proof of something beyond mere existence. The mystics, whether Christian, Sufi, or Vedantic, believed that the divine was not distant but ever present, only veiled. The veil was not imposed by God, but by human perception. To seek transcendence, then, was not to reach for something far away, but to what was already there. But we are not pure souls floating in the ether. We are flesh, tied to the earth. We do not live outside the world, we live it. And that is where the challenge of embodied existence confronts us. The great traditions do not deny suffering. They teach us how to endure it, how to transmute it, even how to find the divine within it. The Stoics, from Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, understood that while we cannot control the world, we can govern our response to it. Christianity, too, grapples with this paradox. Jesus spoke of the kingdom of heaven as both here and not yet, urging his followers to live in divine truth while moving through a broken world. The Renaissance humanists, in their revival of classical wisdom, sought to unify the transcendent with the immanent, arguing that the pursuit of knowledge, beauty, and virtue was itself a bridge between the two. And yet, for all the wisdom of the past, the question remains, how do we engage with the world without being swallowed by it? This question is particularly urgent today. The modern world does not simply demand our labor, it demands our attention, our emotions, our very sense of self. It is relentless, moving at a speed designed to keep us breathless. The endless stream of news, the ceaseless demands of survival, the algorithms that dictate what we see, think, and feel, These are not neutral forces. They shape the soul, often without our noticing. And so we mitigate, we adjust. We find ways to dull the anxiety, to soften the edges of reality. Some turn to indulgence, others to distraction, others still to cynicism, each a form of escape, a quiet surrender to the overwhelming weight of existence. The problem is not just that we are tired, it is that we are from meaning, from each other, from the very transcendence we long for. The struggle of thee is not merely the burden of survival, it is the challenge of remaining in a world that encourages sleep. So how do we live fully in the world while still reaching for something beyond it? The answer is not in withdrawal, but in... The answer is not in withdrawal, but in... First, we must cultivate awareness, to recognize when we are engaging with life and when we are merely enduring it. The ancients spoke of as the highest form of wisdom. To be aware is to be fully present, not passive, but deliberate. To notice the moments where mitigation and adjustment begin to take hold, and to reclaim them, not with grand gestures, but with small, intentional acts of presence. Second, we must practice deliberate action, choosing engagement over distraction, discipline over indulgence. History does not belong to the passive. It is shaped by those who to act, even in small ways. To live with intention, to make conscious choices, is itself an act of defiance against a world that seeks to make us numb. Third, and perhaps most importantly, we must reclaim wonder. Wonder is not naive optimism. It is a radical way of seeing. It is what keeps the soul from shrinking. History shows us that moments of crisis are not just endings, they can be beginnings. The Renaissance came after a dark age, an era of chaos, plague, and uncertainty. Yet out of that turmoil, people rediscovered wisdom, art, and philosophy. What if we are at the beginning of our own Renaissance? The Renaissance was not just an era. It was a rediscovery of wisdom, beauty, and intellectual pursuit. To live thee is to embrace knowledge, to connect the past with the present, and to carry forward the pursuit of truth, not as a burden, but as a calling. This is the challenge and the invitation. Transcendence is not a place we arrive at, but a horizon we move toward. It is infinite, not because it is unreachable, but because it is ever expanding. The journey is what matters. It reminds us that history is not dead, only our understanding of it is. Will we learn from it? Will we live it? Will we leave behind a world worthy of those who come after us? The choice is ours. Thee is more than a philosophy. It is an ethos for living, learning, growing, and thinking. It challenges us to engage with history not as a distant past, but as a living dialogue, one that constantly informs and enriches our present. It is also a responsibility to those who come after us, to the future. Will they look back on us as the generation who stood at the threshold of collapse and prostro, or as those who failed to see the warning signs? The Renaissance was an awakening, the Enlightenment, a reckoning, and now stand at the precipice of our own age of decision. To embrace truth, knowledge, and compassion is to open the world, not just to ourselves, but to all of humanity, to be better stewards of the earth and of each other. History has not died, only our understanding of it has, but it is never too late to awaken. And maybe, just maybe, if we awaken, we can engage with the world, not just without being consumed by it, but while shaping it into something better.